Okay. In the middle of Perek Yud Gimel, we're going to be, as Hashem, finishing the Perek tonight. And well, last week we took a break from Mesilat Yesharim to learn about Hanukkah, to learn an idea about Hanukkah. And we're discussing the idea, of course, of Precious. We spoke about different forms of Precious. And the big question that we had is there's different Mamare Chazal. Some point to Precious being an amazing thing that people should take. And then other Mamare Chazal that speak about it being terrible to restrict yourself and limit yourself from Olam Hazeh. So what's right? And that's pretty much what like where we've been going. The Im Tishal V'Tomar, and he says, if you'll ask, saying, Im Kain Efo Shezeh Davar Mitzarech U'Mochrach, that if it's true, then that Precious is something necessary and essential. If you want to tell me that, yeah, we should be Poresh, that he ended up saying it really is a good thing to be Poresh. So Lama Lo Gazra Alav HaChachamim K'mo Shegazra Al Siyagos Takana Shegazra. They ask the following question: if Precious is good, then how come the Chachamim didn't make it a Chiyuv? The Chachamim constantly make siyagim, make fences, right? If you think about Precious, it's really a siyag, right? So a person is scared of, I mean, like think about like Shabbos. A person is scared of like pulling off a branch from a tree, so you can't ride a horse, because if you ride a horse, you're going to pull a branch off a tree. That's the reason you can't go horseback riding on Shabbos. So the Chacham made siyagim all the time. So how come when it comes to Precious, of refraining from something from the physical world in order to prevent yourself from doing a sin, why didn't the Chachamim make those decrees? He says the answer is simple. It's not that it's a bad thing. It doesn't mean just because they didn't make the gezerah doesn't mean that it's improper to do. The reason they didn't make a gezerah is because it's too difficult for the average person to do. Whenever you have, there's a klal that whenever you have a gezerah that the people won't be able to stand by, then it's obsolete and it's nullified. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, after the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, they wanted to make a gezerah that we don't, I can't remember if it's one or both, that we don't have meat and or that we don't have wine. And they realized that even though it's a nice thing to do, right? Commemorate the fact that the real meat is the korbanos, and we shouldn't have meat, or to commemorate the INS, or that wine brings simcha, and we shouldn't be in a state of simcha. So even though that's nice, people aren't going to be able to live like that. People aren't going to be able to not have meat or wine. They couldn't make that gezerah. Says so too here. Because the ein rov hatzibur chom leot chasidim, the average person can't be a chassid in the sense that we're discussing from Mesilat Yesharim, the sense of like above and beyond. He does say in the footnote here, points out that people can be tzaddikim. We're all expected to become tzaddikim, which means to do everything kedarka, to go above and beyond chasidim. That's so too much. Oh, he says it over here. It's not footnote. Sorry. It's enough that people are tzaddikim. Sometimes when I learn, I guess, like I know the idea and I can't remember if it's in the text or the footnote. I got busted on that one right there. However, there are certain select people, right? Certain people who have a desire. Speaks about how there's certain people who are so holy that they themselves go to a higher level and are lifted up, and they actually bring along the others, like through their merits. It helps out everyone else. The idea kind of like a gadol ador, where when you lose a tzaddik, it's a very sad thing because the generation's bracha, in a certain sense, came from that person. In a certain sense. Because this person who's the very pious one, he's able to keep the code of the Hasidim, and something that other people aren't able to do, to fulfill. And what is he keeping? That's what he discussed when it comes to precious, these ideas of being porish from certain things and pleasures in Olam Hazeh. That's what he's doing. Because this is what Hashem chose. When it's impossible for a nation, that not everyone could hold to a certain standard. That when it comes to every nation, of course, there are going to be people who are on different levels, right? Everyone is on a different level. Minimally, you're going to have certain chidei segula, certain lofty people who are able to properly prepare themselves, and through this preparation, he brings those other people to be able to get close to Hashem, to love Hashem, and to bring the shefel, let's say, of Hashem, the shrash hashchina, to them. Right? There's, I guess, that, like I'm saying, like Gadol, like a leader. It doesn't have to be. I don't know if it's say Yechidei. Yeah, it does say Yechidei Skulash. So I don't know if it means we're talking about like 5 people in a generation, or if we're talking about like thousands of people, just relative to millions. Thousands is a small number. It says this is the idea that we know of when it comes to the lulav. It says in the midrash, Yavo ila v'chapru al ela. But this one come and be machaper on the others, right? So when it comes to the lulav, so each one of the arba minim represents a different type of Jew, right? A Jew that has Torah and mitzvos, a Jew that has Torah without mitzvos, a Jew that has mitzvos without Torah, and a Jew that doesn't have Torah and mitzvos. So what we do is we take them all together and we shake them together in harmony. And that's to represent this idea that the Jews who have the Torah and mitzvos help carry along the others, right? That that there's a story here that about Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi and Ula bar Koshev. Basically, Ula bar Koshev, he was a person who was fleeing from, I think, the Romans. I make sure, yeah, the Romans, and he fled to a town where Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi was, and Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi hid him. And then the Romans said, like, we know he's here. Turn over, give us, turn in Rabbi Yeshua, not Rabbi Yeshua, turn in Ula bar Koshev. Otherwise, we're going to kill everyone. That's what they announced. And this might sound a little surprising. Shua ben Levi convinced him to give himself in. Ula bar Koshev to get out. That's what happened. He kind of like got him out and gave him over to the Romans, who probably didn't do the greatest things to him. The reason that is because that's actually the halacha. The halacha is that when you have a person that's singled out by the enemy says, give me this specific person, give me Reuven, otherwise I'm going to kill all 10 people here. You give in Reuven, and then save the other 9. If you have, though, a case where they say, we want one of you, otherwise we're going to kill everyone, then no one's turned in. Someone could volunteer themselves, but no one's turned in. It's only when you specify a specific person. So over here, look what happened. Shiva, so Yeshua ben Levi gave over Ula bar Koshev, and so Eliyahu Hanavi was upset with him. Says V'lo Mishnahi. So Yeshua ben Levi says, what do you mean? This is the law. Like, I was following the halacha. I gave him in. So Afru Amar, though, he said to him, V'chei Mishnah Chasidim he. What about the laws of the Chasidim? What about going above and beyond? Meaning, it's true on the books, yeah. You could give him in and save the others, but is it right to give in another Jew, even at the risk of more being killed? Yeah, so that's what he told him. Achapricious hara. So now we're gonna a little bit left. when it comes to bad forms of precious, inappropriate precious, all that, like discussed positive precious. No, inappropriate precious. Rahu kider chascholam asher lo dai she'inam lochem min ha'olam asher inam hechreach bo. That matter of fools, foolish people, not only avoid taking from the world what they don't need, but even withhold themselves that which is essential. Meaning, sorry, they withhold themselves of things they don't need. Okay, that's maybe standard precious, but they also withhold themselves of things that are necessities, right? So he says, Allah Shakbar Yimni woman Atma Megamas Mukhrach Yisach Yasru Gufam Bisurin, they inflict their bodies with Varm Zarm, they do bizarre things to themselves. Asher Lo Chafetz Bahem Hashem Klal. Hashem doesn't desire this at all. You think you're doing the holiest thing by fasting all day and by like cutting yourself, whatever, like certain things. Like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. Allah Adrava, on the contrary, Chachamim Amru, also the Adam Sagif Atma, it's forbidden for a person to put themselves in tainyus, in fasting. Now, obviously, there has to be, like, there are many holy people who have fasted, people who fast Monday and Thursdays, right? Certain times of the year, right? Certain things. So maybe it could be for certain holy Jews, maybe stuff like this is allowed, or maybe the way they do it is allowed. But continues Amru, it says in the Yerushalmi Peah, Kol mi shetzarach litol ve'ino notel, praise shofech dam. That when it comes to tzedakah, if you have a person who needs tzedakah and they don't take it, they say, I'm okay, I don't need it, I don't really need it, Hashem will help me out. So that person, it's like you're a murderer, meaning I think it's referring to like killing yourself. Let's make sure. Okay, the Rambam in Hilchos Matanos Aniyim, Parak Yud, says that this Gemara is referring to one whose need for charity is absolutely vital, such as an elderly or sick person who can't support himself. Since his refusal to accept tzedakah is likely will cause him to die quicker, his practice is tantamount to murder. Yes, I mean, it has to do with like suicide. V'chein amru nefesh chaya. And it says nefesh chaya nishma neshama shenastate becha hachaya osa. Hashem says the neshama I gave you, I want you to live by it. The amru, it says in the kol yoshe b'tanis nikrachota. Anyone who sits and fasts is called a sinner. V'amiduha v'delo matzi mitzar nafsha. And sorry. And this is interpreted to mean that you shouldn't inflict the neshama, the nefesh, the soul that Hashem has given us. Okay, like I said, there definitely are people that fast, and maybe this is only talking about either a certain type of person, or it could be like the average person, or it could be talking about people who are maybe not fasting for a certain reason. Maybe those people, if you have like a specific reason, not just like, oh, I don't want pleasure in Olam Hazeh. The Hillel Haya Omer, Hillel says, Hillel Haya Omer, Gomel Nafsho Ish Chesed, that a person who gives to his soul is considered a person doing chesed. Person should eat breakfast. The person should wash their face, wash their hands. The person, why should they do that? To honor Hashem. So if you do that, meaning even more so, of course, people do that when it comes to kings. He learns it from a Kal V'chomer. When you're going to go see the king or the president, you're going to look really nice. You're going to make yourself look as presentable as possible. So too, of course, when you see Hashem that way. It's pointed out here, and it's interesting that like the highest level in a certain sense, we kind of think about doing mitzvos or being poresh and like veering from things that aren't mitzvos, right? So here, an even higher level, what Hillel's saying is that you should take things in this world and use it for serving Hashem. Right here, when he says precious is bad because you should wash up, meaning the form of precious would be, I should be dirty, I should be disgusting. Saying, no, you should wash up, you should eat breakfast. But why should you do that? For Hashem, not for yourself. You do all these things for your body to serve Hashem. That's the real high madrega. That's for sure. It says Harei lecha haklal hamiti. Here you have the correct rule, the rule of thumb regarding precious. That anything that a person doesn't need, extraneous, it will be, it's fitting to be porish from that. The kol mashu mukhrach, but if it's something you need, lo me'ezeh tam sheyeh kevan shehu mukhrach lo, where it's not, it's that, of course, meaning you want this, it's something that anything that's essential for any reason. So he says, Imhu porish menu harei zechota. That's a case where you're a sinner. That's how to break it down. Something you don't need, you should be porish from. Something you need, you shouldn't be porish from. V'hinei zeh klal. Let me see. Sorry. Hinei zeh klal ne'aman. That this is the most reliable thing. Ach mishpat hapratim al pi haklal hazeh ein masar ella el shikol hadas. That the details regarding this are only given over to a person who's able to think rationally, to weigh things, right? Do I need this? Do I not need this? Should I do this? Should I not do this? Well, a person is praised for their seichel, right? Being able to think, being able to figure out what I should do and how I should conduct myself. That it's impossible for a person to compile every detail, and like here is discussing. I think he's discussing how you can't necessarily plan out every single thing and know everything, how things are going to be planned out. You have to take each moment as it comes and each situation as it's presented to you. And my son is waking up. Perfect time, I guess, kind of. And each situation that comes to you, that's what you have to evaluate. And you can't expect to know everything in advance. And when it comes, that's what you should do. Focus on what you're faced in front of. I have to go tend to the little one. We also just finished the parak. I know it's a little short today, but hopefully it's okay. And have a good night, okay, Chavra?